Alright, next part. Number 3. Determine the inverse of f of x. Swap x and y. Now solve for y. Alright. Now we're going to graph it. Go to the table. We're only gonna graph the right side of it. Because since the original equation is only the positive half, we're only gonna graph the right side of f inverse. So is fx a function? How do you know? It is because it passes the line test. So all you do for that is take a line. Every x value has one y value. I'll give you an example of something that wouldn't pass the line test. If it was like that, now you take your line, and you see that each x has two outputs. That means it's not a function. So is f inverse of x a function? Yeah, because it passes line test. State the domain and range. So for f of x, do domain. Now the inverse has to have the opposite domain and range. So basically all you do is flip-flop the x and y. And that's how I knew how to graph the right side of f inverse, because it has to be greater than or equal to 3. And if I graph this side over here, that would be less than 3. So that's another way you can tell that you have to graph the right side. Determine the inverse. Alright, so x equals 3y. Now you're going to solve for y. Alright, so the inverse of g. Now we're going to do the inverse for this one. Alright, now that we have the inverses, sorry, I was a little quiet there. We're going to compute the following. So we'll just copy and paste the inverses down real quick. Alright. So P of P inverse of 2. So we're going to plug 2 into P inverse first. 5 times 2 plus 4 equals 5 root 6. Can't simplify that anymore. Now we have to plug it into P. X over 5. Squared minus 4. Now we'll plug 5 root over 5 root 6 into the equation. So Now you simplify it, this cancels with that, and the square cancels the square root, so it's going to be 6 minus 4, which equals 2. So P of P inverse of 2 equals 2. Alright, next one, G inverse of G of X. Okay, so all we're going to do is we're going to plug G of X into G inverse of X with no number. Alright, now that's G of X. Now we're going to plug that into G inverse. Minus 1. Which equals G inverse of G of X. Now we're doing G of P of negative 1. P is X divided by 5 squared minus 4. So we do negative 1 divided by 5 squared. Minus 4. So it's going to be simplified. We're going to square negative 1/5. So it's going to be 1 over 25 minus 4. Because negative 1 squared is 1, and 5 squared is 25. So we'll convert 4 to 25ths. Four to 25ths is 125ths, which equals 1 minus 100 is 99, negative 99. Now we plug that into G. Plus or minus 7 divided by 2. Plus 5. So whatever answer we get from this is going to be the G of P of negative 1. Alright, now we're going to plug it into the calculator because I have no idea what that is. Right now our answer is negative 111 over 25, which also equals, I'm going to convert it to a actual number. Which equals negative 4.44. Alright, and that's, yeah, so I don't know if it's that easy, but it's like, it's not hard for me.